Bands. Solo King Korean 1v1 tournament, second half of the group between BlisS and Hachani.
Alright, so we see the Nunu getting banned away as well as the Morgana. You know, some good supportive ends. That could be pretty hard AP mages. The Nunu, we saw him use the Ice Blast pretty effectively, as well as the Absolute Zero coming into a big effect against the Annie in the first game of the night. Now we do the Morgana. She's been something that can 1v1 somebody very well if you hit the Dark Binding, but if you do not, then you kind of have to kite around, wait for the cooldown to be back up. And then the Xerath and the Azir join them in the bans.
Yeah, what's interesting to me is to see that Morgana ban, because that means that something gets left open that's incredibly strong. Still no Caitlyn ban. Should see that coming out here in the near future. Now, BlisS has first pick, so if Caitlyn's left open, I can almost promise you that he's going to pick it, but nope. He's going to opt for the ban. Now it will be up to Hachani. Let's see, what else is open? Cassiopeia still available. We've seen that banned almost every game, so definitely something to keep an eye on here is the last ban he comes out for Hachani.
Cassiopeia should be gone. I think all these players have been watching just a little bit and should be pretty aware of how relevant Cassiopeia is in a 1v1 matchup. You know, Twin Fangs are pretty good. Oh, okay, take LeBlanc. Never mind. Just kidding.
All right, well, it is the ban on LeBlanc here. So BlisS with the first pick. Yeah, instant pick Cassiopeia. No questions asked. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily quite as strong as leaving the Caitlyn open that we got to see earlier, but now KT Rolsters Hachani. You know, he's a support player, so I don't think we're going to see quite the support champions that we saw earlier on, but pick up Misfortune, actually. So, or Varus, he's still going for either one of those 80 carries we actually saw played earlier. I believe it was Sonstar that was kind of thinking about playing either one of those, but wound up with the Misfortune. We'll see if that is, you know, versus a Varus. The answer, also Karma. We've seen that champion before as well. So we might actually break the trend of seeing new champions every single game.
I'm not sure how I feel about Varus versus Cass, but I could dig Karma. Karma could bring some really good bursts to this, and even some survivability for the fights if she puts the shield on herself, or you know, matches up the tether. You know, the Karma's gonna be locked in, and Cassiopeia versus Karma. That's an interesting matchup we don't really ever get to see.
Yeah, and as far as this matchup goes, I want to say it's in Cassiopeia's favor, just because Cassiopeia is ridiculous in the 1v1. Very, very abusive laner. A little bit immobile, so vulnerable to being ganked. Just kidding. It's a Solo King tournament, so in the 1v1, that's going to be very difficult to deal with. So we'll see if Hachani has what it takes as far as Karma is concerned to turn that one around, but I don't know. It just seems like Cassiopeia straight up wins that. How do you feel, again?
I feel like Karma can burst her out at some points, but Cassiopeia's consistent damage is way too much to deal with. So
to keep things in perspective, when Cassiopeia's passive gets up to 150 stacks of that Venom, that means that you know, you're going to be able to get a little bit of HP back whenever you throw out a Twin Fangs. So that's the sustain that Cassiopeia is looking for. But as far as Karma's concerned, we're probably looking for at least the majority of her sustain coming from her tether. You can mantra it up to heal 20% if you're missing HP. And then here are the scorecards between both players. While Hachani has been primarily a support player, he probably won't be playing support champions in the 1v1. Although he did draw out that you know, Morgana ban he went for. Probably not something that BlisS was really too anxious to pick. BlisS has been a big Fizz player. If you guys have ever seen or heard of BlisS, is formerly known as a player named Bell Park, who played on both the Korean and North American servers under that name. It was known for being an incredibly strong 1v1 Fizz player, but keep in mind this is being played on the current 5.2 patch, so
no DFG.
Yeah, no DFG for Fizz makes his life a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, but he plays a lot in R, plays a lot of Rumble, so he's used to playing those Yordles and short characters, or short champions, excuse me. But alright, I mean, we're waiting to get into this game. Honestly, Cass versus Karma, I don't think anybody's ever actually been able to get that mid lane matchup, at least outside of solo queue, in like real competitive matches. So it'll be fun to see how it interacts. I know that getting zone with the miasma as well as the poison bursts are just pretty tough to deal with, especially considering you have to get a lot of sustain, a lot of extra health potions. If he goes for like masteries into biscuits, that could be a big thing that helps out on the Karma. But I mean, we'll have to wait till we can see the masteries.
So loading into our second game, our second half of the bracket here. Looking at the votes, actually BlisS down in the votes. That's actually pretty surprising. You know, Hachani has always been touted as being a very mechanical support player, but at the same time, when it comes to the 1v1, BlisS with a very strong champion being picked, kind of surprising to see the Invent poll actually voted against him in Hachani's favor. Although to be fair, KT Rolster have been having a great job here tonight in the 1v1s. So, you know, should expect to see, at least if you go off of the votes, a little bit more success here from Hachani.
I mean, it's still really close, so we'll see. I mean, I can't wait till we get to, like, more of the famous players. It'll probably just be, like, a huge landslide in their favor.
Yeah, just really popular players. Like, I'm trying to think, who do you vote over Faker when he plays? He'll be playing against Fury later on, and kind of the battle of the top versus the bottom as far as standings are concerned. There is, you know, Fury has not necessarily had quite as strong a season as Faker has, by any means, so...
I mean, Faker's fan base reaches, like, the ends of the earth, so...
It's true, and we will get a chance to see Faker play his 1v1 matchup next week, but for at least the time being, Hachani here facing off against BlisS. I'd give the edge to BlisS just off of you know, mid lane experience and being able to play Cassiopeia, but it's going to be exciting to watch regardless of who wins.
So we should be heading out to the very soon. I believe the delay timer should be done ticking out. I don't know. It's a bit of an odd timing for us to wait for, but whatever.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure out exactly when we're going to load in. We're going to skip a few of the things, but here we go, on to the Rift.
All right. Welcome back, guys, to the second half of the brackets here between BlisS and Hachani. We do have Marin and Peekaboo to come up after this best of 3 to see who goes into the semis. But to start off, normally we get the laughs in the mid, but Hachani wants none of that. He just wants to win, so kind of just throwing out a bit of damage there. But he'll finally start to have some fun with it. I'm Ega. Joining me here is Rapid, or Rapid Casting, whatever I call him. And we're going to see a very heavy poke lane this time around.
Yeah, not your traditional amount of poke from Cassiopeia. If you land poison, and there's the first amount of poison being landed, it's actually going to keep stacking up Cassiopeia's passive, which, when you get enough stacks, will actually give her a few bonuses. Early on, of course, just gives her a little bit of ability power and the ability to heal off of Twin Fangs, which can really turn that lane around when you get that stacked up.
Yep, and what I thought was going to be Hachani with biscuits is actually BlisS with biscuits. So the Cassiopeia will have a little bit of burst healing that he can get from those when he does use them the first time. Also, it's a TP Ignite Cassiopeia against the TP barrier Karma.
A little bit of trivia. Did you know, Egad, what the name of Cassiopeia's passive is?
I don't know.
It's the aspect of the serpent. I can't believe you would know that. Oh, Hachani, revealing his positioning off to the side, does narrowly dodge out there from the Noxious Blast, but he's going to start getting hit by more and more of those. Ward placed out in the mid lane, kind of just for style points at this point, and BlisS looking for the shove to get that early Twin Fangs.
Oh, wow. Using that early mantra tune. Actually, only hitting that creep that was in the front, blocking him just a bit. Kind of hurts the lane a little bit. It pushes it out just a little bit faster, but you know, Cassiopeia has no problem just neutralizing that with the poison. Yeah,
and while it will be a relatively low CS score right now, double the CS for BlisS. Okay, well, now it's only a was it 25% advantage, but you get the idea. BlisS at this point, with that hitting level 2, is really going to signal a huge power spike for him. Now, keep in mind, this is patch 5.2 on the Korean server, so that means that Cassiopeia has, you know, the nerfed mana cost to her Twin Fangs now cost actually a bunch of mana, but look at that damage going down there. BlisS empties his mana pool, just look at how fast that drains.
That's actually ridiculous. This is my first time actually seeing the new Cassiopeia effect, and that was actually pretty cool to see. I didn't know it would come out like rapid fire like that. That makes her like really able to just like lay into people.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage behind it, but like we mentioned earlier, it takes so much mana to use effectively, and you can even see BlisS is using Twin Fangs to CS at this point. So while yes, that's going to give him the CS that he needs, it's also going to take mana that he does not need to be spending.
Yeah, once he gets some Zoran swings though, he should be okay to keep this Twin Fang harass out there.
Well, should be and will be can be very different situations, so we'll...
Okay, it will be enough.
Alright, well, at least I hope so. BlisS coming out into this, not with the fan boat, but, oh, look at the tether, gonna land? No, it's not going to latch. BlisS able to retreat to his turret in time, but a good job by Hachani to push him underneath there.
Yeah, I gotta say, Hachani definitely utilizing the fact that BlisS had no mana at the time, just keeping control of how many mantras he uses and such. Coming forward, BlisS though, look at this. This is so aggressive right now. Get it, drop the ignite, Twin Fangs, everything not gonna force the barrier though. So Hachani keeping an eye on that mana pool once again.
Yeah, but BlisS once again, yeah, with no mana, not able to finish off the kill. And that's something that Hachani knows. If the mana bar was like magically stealthed and your opponent couldn't see it, then maybe Hachani would be a little bit more afraid, but he knows BlisS only has enough room for just a small amount of offensive skills here. His health bar, his mana bar, both very, very low, and actually might be Hachani there. It lands the tether. He's a solar flare. Oh, one auto attack, not solar flare.
He should have dove that.
Inner
100%.
flare. But yeah, immediate flash in there, but oh wait, doesn't have flash, so dive opportunity is just a little bit lower than you'd otherwise imagine.
So you have the barrier, man. You just gotta dive with the flow. Just gotta go with it. Keep everything balanced.
And we're starting to see teleport barrier be kind of the preferred summoner spell combo of choice here. It allows you to get back to base for early buys, and it also will allow you to get back to lane if you do wind up dying early anyway. So, or not dying early, but being forced out of lane. If you die, then the game's over. But...
yeah, if you die, it's pretty much just worthless. So. Yeah, they're both going back. Oh, he popped barrier by accident. Oh, Hachani.
Oh, no. I think Hachani meant to teleport back to the turret, but he hit the wrong summoner spell and actually used barrier instead.
That's rough.
Crucially enough, BlisS does not know that. So BlisS is going to be calculating that barrier as a possibility, and that could definitely be, I would say, an advantage versus... BlisS, or versus, BlisS, but still not having the inhibitor in the first place is not going to be where you want to be.
Alright, I mean, the mind games are on. Let's see if Hachani can kind of sell this fake for a little bit. But the miasma, the poison, everything's coming through. He can't push out the waves. There's no way you have enough inner flames to come out that fast. And I mean, at this point, BlisS could be going for the tower game or the last hit game.
Interesting to see. You can see BlisS went for triple Doran's rings, but doesn't have any potions. Doesn't actually really need potions, considering how much health he's most likely going to get back from just throwing out these Twin Fangs. And of course, you can see now with 100 and I think 100 stacks on his aspect of the serpent, he will finally be able to heal himself off of using those twisted or Twin Fangs.
The twisted advance.
No, it's not Maokai. He is in fact just Cassiopeia. And by just Cassiopeia, I mean, oh, by the way, one of the strongest champions in 1v1 situations anyway. When you don't have to worry about the jungler. Like, getting hard engaged on is Cassiopeia's nightmare. To be fair, it actually happens a lot, so you may want to avoid it in competitive play, but as far as the Solo King tournament, definitely something that it can work out well.
Yep, I mean, he's doing a great job of mana management at this point too, not spamming out, using the fact that he has the 3 Dorans, but again, both Karma and Cassiopeia just horrendously good at keeping waves from pushing, so we're gonna see this one more than likely come down to CS. I don't see how they kill each other, quite honestly. Even with Cassiopeia's ultimate, it doesn't feel like it's enough to really break through the shields as well as the potential heals from the latch there from Karma. Oh, never mind.
Oh, there it is. It's gonna go in there. No stun off that petrifying gaze, and even with poison and Twin Fangs to trade that out there, BlisS kind of missing out on what might have been a kill opportunity had he landed that petrifying gaze.
Interesting. I don't know why they did that, but
Another tether down there onto BlisS. Hachani never really committing to all of these tethers that he throws out, so Kind of questionable decision making. If you're gonna put him out there, might as well go for the follow-up damage. If it's about as free as it gets here, knowing that BlisS empties his mana pool very quickly.
Yes. So what are we at? 62 to 54, an 8 creep lead for BlisS. He can't really be pressured by Hachani either. Hachani can't move up without risking taking poison damage. He's also out of consumables, and that's where things kind of get a little rough. Hachani did end up monitoring up the inner flame, but BlisS just kind of slithers away. He's got teleport back up too, so he can choose to just go back and teleport back to this lane.
Yeah, that is the big deal. The guy that uses teleport first actually has a really big advantage, because not only will he be able to come back to lane ahead of schedule, which will allow him to, push turrets and, deny experience and all those other fine accoutrements of life, it will give him the item advantage when he comes back in the lane, and that is going to be a very, very big deal. Coming back with a Hextech Hextech revolver, though, not an item I expected to see.
I mean, what you said with how the twin fangs can heal him up just a bit, it makes a lot more sense that he picks up that revolver there and just really becomes the sustained machine, impossible to burst, and at least impossible to burst in the 1 versus 1 situation. But he's gonna be able to just stay through a lot of this stuff.
And at this point, going back to base here for BlisS, I'm not sure. Okay, he was just feigning that recall. I was like, I know you're out of mana, but look at the build for Hachani. Not only is he going to match ward for ward in the mid lane, he is also going to have bought 6 Doran's rings.
That's a lot of commitment, honestly. I don't know why you would do that, but let's see. BlisS gonna get hit up, inner flame, mantra'd up, and just taking so much damage there. But Hachani can't really dive, and
BlisS can't heal that back either, because he doesn't have any mana to use Twin Fangs to get that health back off of the
Why is he staying? That's pretty scary. I mean, he doesn't want to risk losing a lot of damage to the tower, but that's hurt.
At least desperately trying to pick up at least 1 CS for himself. He is ahead 4 CS, which may not seem like a lot, but when it gets really, really close, down to that 100 CS mark, it's going to be what defines the game, and an inner flame mantra'd up there. Hachani with the 1v1 victory. Hachani, the solo king, in our first game of this best of 3 series.
Interesting. I did not think that mantra'd up inner flame would be enough, but it was. And I don't know what this is still playing. Oh, this is a replay. I was like, why is it still playing this?
It's just going to replay this. There is the tether to land. Mantra'd inner flame. So much damage. Turns out 6 Doran's rings. That's how you beat BlisS. Hachani for KT Rolster, able to pick up a game 1 win.
Alright, so with that, let's see. We'll get into the next picks bands as soon as possible. See what they want to go for the next game. And I mean, ban Cassiopeia. Well, no, actually, no, it wasn't even that bad. The Karma played really, really well. Hachani definitely stepping up there.
And at this point, you can see the commentator just kind of debating what kind of went wrong there. And I honestly think it was the most recent Cassiopeia nerfs that put so much extra mana cost on that Q when Fangs just really emptied BlisS's mana bar, and without enough harass to be put on, made it very, very difficult to go in even in those trades.
So let's see. I mean, Hachani could make this a quick 2-0, or BlisS could try to come back and make it the game 3 the blind pick side. And then we head over to, the second to last match between Peekaboo and Marin to see who advances in their finals, or who advances to the finals to play up against whoever wins this one. Jeez. I'm trying to think of how that lane could have gone any differently.
Well, I think what really needs to happen, regardless of which champion you pick, you gotta manage your mana. And so coming in here to game number 2 now, we'll swap sides. Hachani now on the blue means that BlisS gets the red side. Theoretically, the side choice is actually a little bit more impactful here in game number 2, because that means that, well, if you want to go for that early power pick, you won't be able to grab it. You don't have to worry about giving away like the 2 power picks that you have to worry about in LCS. It's a whole lot simpler this game. It is regardless 1v1, but it's a best of 3, so an attempt to come back here for BlisS.
We see the Fizz, the Xerath, the Cassiopeia gonna get banned away again. Or not again, but for the first time between these two players. What else? What else? What else? What they need to take away? Lulu could be a big option. Karma gets banned away. Nunu as well. It's interesting to see the priorities here from the Korean side, at least. The Nunu's a big one. Karma's a big one. And, Caitlyn could slip through.
Caitlyn? Yeah.
Sivir as well. Okay, this is a Caitlyn ban.
And with the Caitlyn ban, it probably means either a insta-lock on the Morgana. Hachani, you can tell, not only has been wanting that Morgana, it's been banned already in our first series, or first game of this series. Morgana's support champion, and KT's Hachani a support player, so nice to see him getting a champion he's very, very familiar with, even in a somewhat unfamiliar role.
I mean, it's pretty much the same. You're just looking at Dark Bindings and get a tainted soil on them, and you're good to go, and then you put the black shield on yourself, and you pretty much can't be CC'd. And interestingly enough, Heimerdinger isn't the best response to it, because the Tormented Soil could just really kind of screw up your turrets. Maokai wouldn't be that bad once you tank up a bit, but early on, still pretty rough. But the Arcane Smash and the passive heal is not too bad. He's got to be careful with the Twisted Advance too. If the Black Shield comes out and like Hachani kind of flashes back, Twisted Advance won't stun or won't root, and Hachani can kind of mess with them and get a Dark Binding underneath the tower, the turret. There's a lot of interesting mechanics that could happen in this game especially. And looking at the runes, we got, what is that? Magic resist, 26 AP, and armor. Yeah. Nothing out of the ordinary for sure. Now we just see the other side of things for BlisS, and I expect him to be just really tanky and maybe have some AP of his own. So no defensive masteries, just straight up aggression, and then even utility. That's kind of greedy. Yeah, that was a team kill. You muted yourself on the stream.
Well, that'd be highly unfortunate. Now that we've got that taken care of, all my beautiful analysis, you'll be able to vouch for me that I was saying like super smart things, and you know, was also probably the funniest person alive. But
yeah, that was great.
All right, well, I'll take the vote of confidence where I can find it. But now that we're done introducing our players for game number 2 in this best of 3 series, we should be able to get out onto the rift here in just a few seconds for Hachani versus BlisS. Game 2, Hachani is up 1 game in this best of 3 series.
You think he's gonna 2-0 it with this pick?
I definitely think that 2-0 is very, very possible, just considering the champion matchups. Game number 1, there was a lot of mana issues, and here in game number 2, maybe BlisS can manage that mana differently. We'll see as we get into game.
Alright, so we are into the rift for the second game here between Hachani and BlisS. Hachani leading 1-0, and, you know, being a part of KT roster, he's got a big name to fill. And then we got Samsung's very own BlisS on the Maokai mid, going up against this Morgana. Both players running teleport and ignite, so a lot of mobility and maybe some kill potential for both teams, or both sides, but it's going to be tough to break down the Maokai.
Now, there are a couple of ways that you can look at this, EGAD. You can say, okay, well, KT have had a very, very strong showing here tonight, so, you know, maybe the KT name...
what is he doing? Oh, God. If he had been bound there by Hachani, that would have been it. But he leveled Tormented Soil already.
Why did BlisS walk under... Okay.
That was weird. Whatever.
Lag? I'm not sure exactly what that advanced strategy was. I think he was trying to get like a couple of early auto attacks on the turrets so that, you know, he could have a small advantage, but, you know, there's a champion there, so you can't quite make that happen. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you do not skill up a skill early on before you actually need to. Dark Binding, like you said.
A sub creep spawn kill? That'd be cool.
Yeah, a 1 minute kill onto BlisS is not something you want to put on your resume. I died pre-level 1 in a 1v1 tournament, so... another way to look at this is just based on the champions standings right now. Samsung down at the very bottom, 0-6. And honestly, when BlisS was announced as the mid laner for Samsung, I was super excited because he's represents a lot of solo queue talent. He's also a player who's incredibly highly skilled playing you know, Fizz. He was a very mechanically demanding champion, so I expected to see a lot of good things from it, and unfortunately have not quite, you know, lived up to the hype. And I think Samsung as a team, you know, they were a team that went to Worlds with both of their rosters, and now with a full brand new roster, still have a lot to prove. And kind of the same situation here for BlisS versus Hachani.
Hachani really needs to level 2 because then he can guarantee himself a kill on the BlisS. While his auto attacks are just putting in some serious work chipping him down, as well as the Tormented Soil there, but let's see. Binding connects, ignites out, and it looks like he's gonna go down.
Whoa, yeah, one more auto attack.
Oh,
all it's gonna do. Magic Sap to heal, just barely enough. Wow. BlisS in a lot of trouble, forced all the way back to base already, and, you know, he'll get his way back into lane, but we're actually gonna see a quick replay of this. One last auto attack.
Sapling slow saved him, 100%.
Yeah, and if Hachani had committed a little bit more to that, might have been able to pick up the kill. Would have been close, and now we're going to see another Dark Binding to land here. The auto attack battle, but here's the Sapling. The Sapling's actually going to go. This is, dead for Hachani. There's the Arcane Smash for BlisS. Let's take a twisted advance back out of that fight, just for a few style points. Now, I think we're going to get a quick replay of exactly how that happened. I think that was actually just pretty bad positioning by Hachani.
Yeah, being pushed up that far is kind of risky against a Maokai, and I mean, even without ignites, like, that sapling does so much damage to you, and there you see the effects of it. Hachani didn't have much armor either, so, or magic resist, so kind of just getting chunked on through that. BlisS is like the second game, excuse me.
I want to say this is our fastest victory of the tournament so far, 3 minutes in. And Hachani losing that 1v1. BlisS coming out with a win and tying the series. His best of 3 at 1-1. And that means that, well, It's coming down to the final game. Will it be KT Rolster continuing their dominance through every single one of their games so far? It's always been KT coming out on top. Maybe this is Samsung's time to shine.
Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. That's for sure. I'm rooting for BlisS at this point. See if he can make the nice little comeback. Ban-wise, next game, do they even really need to? What could they? I don't know if you need really to ban Maokai.
Well, one thing to point out is that, you know, Hachani is a support player, and he did go with a little bit more of a supportive-based champion. And even though we've seen Morgana start to maybe migrate to the side lanes or to solo lanes as a solo laner, it's still not a champion that you would expect in a 1v1 to be, you know, like top S-class, top of the table. And with only 6 bans in here and, you know, several kind of diverse bans being, you know, taken, it'll be interesting to see if, you know, when we come back for our deciding game number 3 in this best of, well, game 3 in a best of 3. If it's deciding, then that's the only situation we could have. If BlisS is able to, you know, take things home and, you know, solidify his position as a very, very skilled 1v1er in the mid lane, or if, you know, it's Hachani, so hey, supports can carry too, and, you know, he'll take home the win and advance, continuing KT's dominance of the tournament so far.
But then again, you know, the KT members could meet up again and support keep killing in more sad times for them.
Not a possibility necessarily in this bracket, considering that our second best of 3 will pit 2 SK Telecom members versus each other, but maybe a little bit later on down the road, definitely a possibility. A lot of KT success tonight. We'll see if Hachani can make it work out for them. Flay and Death Sentence, 2 skills that I want to see being used. If you go for another support pick in Thresh, of course, you can also go for the Alistar Braum that we've seen earlier from a couple of our KT support picks. But a lot on the line here, and a lot of possible champion picks if you want to go for that support-ish style for, you know, some familiarity there for Hachani.
So another big match after this one. So we'll see once they get the last, you know, once they get BlisS and Hachani ready to go. Slow times get in the lobby. So
yeah, just currently hopping into champion picks advance here for the deciding game at number 3.
Blind picks. Let's go.
Like we said, blind picks, so no bans coming out here. You can grab whatever champion you want, and the mind games here are not necessarily, hey, can I pick the strongest champion? But it is, can I pick not only a strong champion, but one that will be a counter pick to my opponent without knowing what he's choosing.
Double Caitlyn all the way. I don't know if BlisS is gonna go for the Maokai again. If he does, that's gonna be a really bad time for him.
And now the problem that we're starting to see is with no bans, like, what do you do versus a Caitlyn? So you have to think to yourself, all right, what's the top tier pick? And you have to say it's Caitlyn. She's been incredibly dominant in the one game that we've seen, but also just in general, Caitlyn very, very strong during the lane phases, an AD carry, a characteristic that maybe not a lot of AD carries actually have. So see what the answer is here for BlisS. Is it his trademark Fizz, even though it's nerfed? Probably not.
I don't think so. Fizz here is not too bad against Caitlyn, but again, no DFG and such. The LeBlanc, I don't know if the LeBlanc's gonna get to a point where she can really burst the Caitlyn. That's a big thing to keep an eye out for. And Nunu, okay, that's something I can get behind.
All right, now we've already seen one successful performance from both of these champions so far, and we're finally breaking the, I don't want to call it a curse, but the tradition of seeing brand new champions every single game. It was true for our last game. I hadn't seen a Maokai up to that point, so it'll be exciting to see how you know, this OP blind pick matchup works out. Nunu versus Caitlyn. Kate with a lot of early harass and CS ability, but it just starts to get so oppressive with Ice Blast coming out of Nunu. Might be BlisS's ticket to the next round.
The Ice Blast is going to be something that we really need to keep an eye out for. There's net to disengage from Absolute Zero, so he's going to watch out for that. Consume can only heal so much, and I mean, Caitlyn's harass is pretty much just unlimited with her range, so we'll see. This is going to be a tough one, I say, for BlisS. anytime you pick Nunu, it's going to be a tough game to kind of really stay alive anyway.
Yeah, specifically early on, when you don't have a crazy amount of sustain, you're just going to pick up as many potions as you know what to do with, try to make it over that teeny tiny early hump, but once you get on towards your first, item and a half, it just it starts to get a little bit unkillable. So excited to see what's in store. Who do you give the edge to here, Caitlyn or Nunu? You get?
I want to say Caitlyn for sure. I think where is it? I think that I completely blanked the name. Hachani has the upper hand here, and we see the runes now too coming in 11% attack speed, I believe that is. And we got, what is that, 11 damage, 8, no, it's 11 armor, 8 damage, and I couldn't see what the percentage was, unfortunately.
Going on to the masteries though here for Hachani, fairly standard. Notice he actually put a point into a mastery that will give you bonus damage from your allies. I don't necessarily think that will be very effective, considering that there are no allies for him to amplify their damage on. And now we're going to take a look at the rune page. Shouldn't see too many things out of the ordinary. Just ability power, health, armor, and magic penetration.
Yep. If he went anything else, I'd call him crazy, but you never know.
But would you call him maybe?
Maybe.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on that. Now taking a look at BlisS's mastery setup, at least for this game.
Yeah, just raw damage and utility, no problem.
Yeah, so it's fairly standard. It's what he ran in a previous game. Really prioritizing the extra sustain for having those total biscuits of rejuvenation and, of course, 10% additional time running there on your health potions. Also has 2 points in the summoner spell cooldowns if they pick the same summoners and are in a battle.
Some teleport ignite.
Where time matters, then yeah, that could definitely turn things around. And of course, percentage cooldowns, even if they're small on very high CD summoner spells, will make actually a pretty decent difference. So excited to see what's gonna come out here of the blind pick match. It's gonna be one for the ages. Caitlyn versus Nunu, two of the strongest champions that we've seen here in the Solo King 1v1 tournament here on this Zubu TV, and it's been exciting to watch every single one of those matchups. We're gonna find this game number 3 coming your way here in just a minute.
Alright, looks like we are onto the rift now. Nunu versus Caitlyn. It's going to be BlisS versus Hachani. Teleport Ignite for the Nunu and Teleport Barrier for Hachani. Looking to just kite and survive. He had to go Longsword and 3 potions, and BlisS went for the biscuits and Doran's Ring route. So looking to spam out those ice balls very, very quickly and not really worry about mana too much.
And this is actually the opposite of what I was expecting. I thought we were actually going to see more sustain from Nunu and more just aggressive early game here from Hachani. Because as Caitlyn, you want to get those early auto attacks down, 650 range. They're just so abusive this early in the game. Whereas with Nunu, you want to be able to sustain through your weak early game. Make sure that you get your sustain to a point where you can sustain. A lot of sustain in there. You get the idea. But with BlisS going for a Doran's Ring early on, he'll actually be putting on the pain that Hachani may not be ready for. And of course, Ice Blast versus 80 carries is never something that they really want to deal with.
Yeah, the Ice Blast is probably the most important aspect to look at for this fight. The traps for Hachani too are going to be pretty big, considering that Nunu wants to walk up and consume a creep, but the trap could just keep him there and delay him just a bit. The 90 caliber net for escaping Absolute Zero, for escaping Ice Blast, chasing you down. Then you hear him just laughing in his face right now, and eventually he'll start just abusing the range that Caitlyn has and whittling away at BlisS.
Gonna whittle away at the creep wave primarily, just walking forward for an Ice Blast, and Hachani not actually auto-attacking during the duration of that Ice Blast, just because he knows that he's probably not going to get too many auto-attacks off anyway. Saves that Piltover Peacemaker, and like you said, just the 650 range, so abusive. Creep wave attempting to be evened out there, thinned out as Hachani versus BlisS, both a lot of early aggression. See which one pays off first, and it probably will be Hachani.
Yeah, I mean, he can only consume every couple seconds, so it's not going to work out. And every headshot procs, Hachani is just going to be looking to move up forward.
And of course, he
And
is going to need level
trap.
2 in order to go for this consume. So, still behind in that level as Hachani did hit it first. BlisS will be facing a pretty decent wave at his turret. Will he be able to last it at all? Already missing one creep. We'll see how many more he is allowed to get.
It's going to be tough for Hachani right now. He's going to get chased out. Ignite is available. He's going to drop some traps and kite around that. But with not enough mana and Ice Blast and cooldown, he doesn't really want to risk it. Especially running into the enemy creep wave.
Yeah, definitely. You never want to fight in a creep wave this early on into the game. Now, a level up here for BlisS. He's going to have probably rank 2 on Ice Blast. Yeah, he did level up rank 2 for that skill. And at this point in time, you're already seeing Hachani having worked through all 3 health potions, starting with a very high sustained build as far as AD carries go. And they're gone, and this is a big discrepancy between matchups that you want to run versus Nunu and well, this one, because with no sustain other than just the lifesteal and that Doran's Blade, Hachani has no way to deal with taking this point and click damage that every single one of those Ice Blasts is going to put down. Now BlisS very low on HP, but trying to auto attack these minions down will give him the advantage over Hachani.
I gotta say, the way he played that with the headshot proc into Piltover definitely just brought him back. Not brought him back into the game, but allowed him to gather a bit of a lead, seeing as to how BlisS did retreat with the wave pushing into the tower. So at some point that wave will reset, and we could see a pretty good time for Hachani. BlisS also clearing out the traps, just walking into all of them.
Wow, yeah, and at this point, that's probably the most effective way that he has to clear out the traps, because HP isn't too big of a difficulty for him. He was able to get that CS pretty much for free while Hachani was back into base, and BlisS still looking to just keep chunking out with those Ice Blasts, something that Hachani just cannot deal with at this point in the game.
Yeah, way too much damage coming out from that burst. He trades with a Piltover, that's insane. Although the Piltover was mitigated by creeps, but it's still way too hard to trade. Although when he has low mana, it's much easier, but he gets free spell cast after every couple hits.
Yeah, he's going to be clairvoyant with that, clear casting, but, oh, nice combo there by Hachani. He's been able to use the potions and the Vampiric Scepter to that sustain coming on, and that'll represent about 13% lifesteal, barring any additional lifesteal from Runes and Masteries that we, didn't see at the last second. But for BlisS now, he is pushed back underneath his turret. He's going to be losing a lot of the CS, and if you just look at this CS, you can tell BlisS is not prioritizing that objective. He's trying to get close to a minion to consume it, but unfortunately...
He's got to be careful. He's got to be really freaking careful there.
If he steps on that trap, he's just dead. So
yeah.
BlisS...
He doesn't have TP either, so if he goes back, he's going to lose a lot of tower damage.
Now, keep in mind, he did have the health potions to start the game with, but now with no longer any more after having gotten double Doran's rings. Those rings were turning the tide, but he walked into a creep wave, a Piltover Peacemaker, and kind of all she wrote here. Hachani now going to get a free trip up to this, well, really the only turret that matters. Of course, we'll deny a little bit of CS and gold along with it.
And oh boy, I mean this is the siege too, so this tower is gonna take a boatload of damage. Not a boatload, but a bit. It's put out a half at least. I thought he'd have more time to just whack away at it, but as soon as BlisS gets up there fast, Nunu does have a pretty fast movement speed. But Hachani decides to go back. I don't know how much gold he has left in his bank, but just pick up some Doran's Blades and he's good to go.
Now, interestingly enough, BlisS comes back with triple Doran's rings, so no sustain from potions. He's just looking for those rings. If he likes it, then I guess he liked it 3 times because he put 3 rings on it. Yeah, so he'll be able to stick around in lane, but he's down so much in CS at this point that really all Hachani has to do is just keep killing minions, and he's going to win the lane anyway.
Yep, being 13 ahead, not too bad, not too bad. Caitlyn is the CS queen. The only thing he's got to watch out for is just a consistent Ice Blast harass. Other than that, like, just keep doing what he's doing. Juke out the range there. BlisS can't really effectively push up. Let him just keep walking into traps and trade it like that. Like, those are perfect trades, just like that.
TIL, but now we're, speaking of perfect trades, BlisS just walking forward with an Ice Blast, walking away. It's an easy way to trade, but Hachani's just not letting him get away with that. He is consistently pilled over Peacemaker, getting those headshot auto attacks, and now, whoa, going forward, BlisS, the ace in the hole! It's Hachani! In game number 3, there's the decider. Didn't even have to win the 1v1. He just walked up and, well, let the gun do the talking for him.
Smart play. Getting the headshot to bring him low enough for the ace in the hole to be within kill threshold. So you saw him get the headshot. He's like, oh, I can just kill him right now. Boom, and boom. There's the ace in the hole. He's dead.
1v1 victory here will go to Hachani. Congratulations, the solo king. And this matchup will be Hachani for KT Rolster taking out BlisS from Samsung. He'll pick up a 2-1 victory here in this matchup and advance to the next round. And who will be coming up there to face Hachani in the next round of the Solo King tournament?
I don't know. It's either Peekaboo or Marin, so we'll see after the commercial break, as well as, you know, if you want to hit up Azubu, you can follow him on Azubu TV, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff. You can follow him over there. Us, the casters, at Rapid Casting and at EGADcast on Twitter. And yeah, just thanks for watching. If you want to donate to the stream, not donate to the stream, but donate to the charity that is going on for this event for the Solo King, you can check it out on the site and do that there. So we'll see you guys for the next match when it's ready.